Welcome back to our third installment of Griz Tracks. I'm AJ Mazzolini, sports writer for the Missoulian.
And I'm Bill Speltz, a sports writer and a beat writer for the Griz football team.
We're in our second to last week of preseason practice for the Grizzly football team, and they just wrapped up their second scrimmage this past Saturday.
Yeah, and it was interesting. It was definitely a change from their first scrimmage when the offense had a lot of bright spots. This time it was the defense's turn to shine. Although it was very promising to see Jordan Johnson, starting quarterback, leading the team down for a score on the first drive. Really nice pass across the middle on a 3rd and long, and then a 40-yarder to Ellis Henderson, who really has emerged in preseason workouts here on the deep routes. They seem to have good chemistry. And so, anyway, but after that first drive, it was all defense.
And you sort of expect that, with the second scrimmage, those guys getting a little more warmed up. The beginning practice for them, not being able to play in pads through practices, takes them maybe a little more time to kind of get revved up.
Sure, and it's one of those things where you wonder if the coaches maybe organize it so that one week the offense will shine, and then the next week the defense will shine. So they keep their feet on the ground and understand there's a lot to work on at this time of year. The offense, after that first drive, they just could not do much running the ball. Joey Counts had 10 carries, I think, for about 12 yards. Jordan Canada couldn't get much done, although he didn't have many carries. And they didn't, Trevon Van didn't play because of an injury, so we didn't get to see him the second scrimmage. And he really stood out in the first one, so hopefully he'll get back soon here with his knee injury.
And there's quite a few running backs in camp that are all vying for playing time. 3 or 4 of them really that could be getting quite a few snaps.
Definitely, and that really kind of emerged as the situation this week because for starters, I think they're trying to take it easy on Jordan Canada. I think he's going to be the marquee running back right out of the gates. He'll be in there when they take the field for the first time.
He's got the most experience really under his belt. A lot of the rest of them are young guys.
Right, and then of course they got the transfer from Marshall, Trevon Van, who has looked well. And then he tweaked his knee. I talked to him and he said he'd be back in a few days. He is doing some drills now. He's taken the wrap off his knee, so that's really good news. I think he's going to help, and he might get as many carries as Jordan before it's over. But there's these other guys now who are getting a lot of carries with the first team this week. Joey Counts had, like I said, he had a lot in the scrimmage, and now John Wynn, Peter Wynn's brother, has almost exclusively worked with the first team this week. One day he had 8 carries in a row, I think, when they did a 2-minute drill trying to get first downs, kill the clock situation. So who knows, and maybe he'll play into it this year. Those guys, it seems like you need a few of them to play that one position with all the hard hits they take.
Yeah, absolutely. A position that really gets banged up, and I'm sure they'll like to have that depth there with another win out of the behemoth that is Bellevue High School out there in Washington. Injuries are always a story through the preseason. Hopefully everybody stays healthy enough to actually get to the regular season. What have we been seeing on that front, Bill?
Well, I think for the most part they feel real fortunate because they haven't lost anybody for the season. They've had a few unfortunate situations. Kelby Oyland was injured the first week of practice, and we still haven't seen him. He was projected to be the starting center. Fortunately, they've got a backup that's real capable, and he's done a great job both out of the shotgun and under center with Jordan Johnson. His name is Logan Hines. And then another one, Clay Pearson. He's looked really good at tight end. He's a senior this year. He lost about a week and a half of practice with a turf toe injury, but he's back, looking good. Overall, knock on wood, they haven't had a lot of concerns with injuries so far.
Yeah, and we're only about 8 or 9 days here away from the opener against Appalachian State there at home. What do you know about Appalachian State coming in here now?
Well, one thing that's scary is that they return 10 starters on offense. So it's really going to be an interesting matchup between App State's offense and Montana's defense with their 10 returning starters. They don't return much on defense, and they have a new defensive coordinator this year. So it could be maybe that'll set up well for the Grizz. We'll see.
Should look a lot different though than they did last year in Boone, at least on defense.
Most definitely, between their new defensive coordinator and their new head coach, Scott Satterfield, first-year coach. Now, he was the offensive coordinator last year, so he's got a lot of experience with them. But it's an interesting situation for App State. They can't they can't make the playoffs this year. They're ineligible because they're transitioning to
making that jump.
Yeah, so it's I guess they're playing for a conference title and playing for pride.
Yeah, and they'll be heading up to FBS. So is that next year then?
That's next year, and then I kind of learned a little bit about it. Next year they'll be at FBS level, but they cannot play in a bowl game that first year. Right. So it's 2 years where you're kind of playing for the regular season.
Yeah, big transition period for them. But we'll be back next week with more Griz Tracks as we get a little closer to that game, get you some more specifics, maybe some players to watch as we open up playing in Washington Grizzly Stadium. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.